Emmy Award winner and acclaimed author Marcos McPeek Villatoro grew up in Rogersville, Tennessee, and he will be reading from his newest novel set right here in East Tennessee as part of the Mary B. Martin School of the Arts fall program. But that's not all that's going on at ETSU. Anita DeAngelis is here this morning to fill us in on a quilt exhibition coming to campus as well. Anita, thank you for being here this Monday
Chris.
morning. You've got a lot going on. Your plate is full.
We always do, yes. But yes, once the semester starts, we're off and running.
Let's first of all talk about Villatoro's reading tomorrow night. This is a young man who grew up right here in Rogersville, Tennessee, and is now in L.A. and is making a name for himself.
Yes, he teaches at Mount St. Mary's College in L.A., but he grew up in Rogersville. His mother was originally from El Salvador, but his father has Appalachian roots. His father was a coal miner and a sharecropper. So it's interesting to us that he's got this dual background, and I think we'll hear a little bit more about that during his visit.
And checking up on him, you know, he's actually gone to El Salvador to find his roots there, and I don't think he found exactly what he was looking for there.
No, not exactly. He actually has a documentary film out that's called Tamale Road that's about his visit to El Salvador. He took his wife and his children, and they lived there for several years. So it sounds like quite an adventure. So,
but not the adventure he was quite expecting.
Right. He found out that his family is actually one of the 12 ruling families of El Salvador.
Wow. Something
that he wasn't expecting, because you know the history in El Salvador is not particularly great, especially in the 20th century. So. Yeah.
And he is going to be here. He's an author as well. I mean, a documentarian, but also an author as well. And he's going to be reading from his new novel. Talk to us about this whole experience that's going to happen tomorrow night.
Well, he'll lecture tomorrow. Well, he'll do a reading tomorrow night. But he is the author of the Romelio Chacon crime series, and it's actually been translated into, I think, 4 different languages. But he's a poet. He's written a memoir, so he's quite an author. And in some of the interviews that we've had with him, he's talked a lot about how much Appalachia has influenced his writing. He says that his father was a storyteller, so you know, he grew up in that heritage that so many of us did in Appalachia, with storytelling as a background. So, you know, I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, with the National Storytelling event going on this weekend in Jonesboro, you're kind of getting a jump start on that, aren't you?
That's right. We're tying it in a little bit. So
we'll switch gears just a little bit. That's going to be a fantastic event, but let's switch gears a little bit and talk about this big quilting exhibition. And it's just not homemade quilts. They're great homemade quilts, but these are not the ones that you just see every day. Right.
The Slocum Galleries at ETSU is going to host a quilt exhibition that's called Layers Quilt as Form, and Patricia Mink, who's a faculty member in the art department, curated the exhibition, and we have quilts coming in from some major studio quilt makers from throughout the country. So we're very excited about it. Huge names in the quilt world. We're also bringing in Joan Schultz, who is exhibiting, but she's coming to ETSU to lecture during the exhibition. So we're pretty excited about that.
And quilting is an art form just like any other art form.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of people take that for granted sometimes.
Right, they do. And these aren't your traditional quilts. These probably aren't the kind of quilts we would have on our beds. So they're really artworks. And we're very excited. Artists like Susan Brandeis and Nancy Crow, and then I've already mentioned Joan Schultz, are exhibiting. So we're very excited to have this opportunity.
Anything else coming up down the road that we need to know about?
Yes, the Malpass brothers will be here on October 8th. So I'll be back talking about them more. So.
All right. Anita DeAngelis, thank you so much for being with us this morning, telling us about Marcos Villatoro is going to be there tomorrow night at Ball Hall Auditorium at 7 o'clock. That is going to be a reading, and I'm sure there'll be a question and answer with him as well. Plenty to talk to this man about, leading such an interesting life. And then we have Layers, the big quilt as a form. I mean, I really want to go by there and check these quilts out. Just seeing the pictures makes me want to go by there. October 5th through the 30th at ETSU Slocum Galleries. There's a number, there's the website. For more information, head on over there today. And talking about heading over somewhere, I'm going to be heading over to the kitchen in just a little bit. Our friends from the New Ray Inn are right there, and I think they've got a little bit of food prepared over there. Don't you think, Anita?
Yes, it smells very good.
All right. Stay with us. Got more Daytime Tri-Cities coming up.